Welcome guys, thanks for turning up again. This is Charles Salbox and you have arrived at another installment. So today we're going to be touching on the left hook and I'm going to show you why I believe it's the second most important punch. So right after the jab. Right, let's get into it. Boy, boom. Okay guys, so just before we begin, my team and I have been working on a Salbox formula especially designed for women. It's called Unleash the Thrill of Aggression. As a special Christmas present, a massive thank you to all the women who follow me on my Instagram and YouTube channels, and for the men who have women in their lives, I've produced a free mini course. Yes, it's completely free. All you have to do is click the link below, and if you're a guy, you can add this to your stocking fillers for the ladies in your life. So your mom, your wife, your girlfriend, hopefully not both, your daughter and your sister. I have the full Unleash the Thrill of Aggression Salbox course dropping in New Year, but in the meantime, this mini course will have you floating through the Christmas season, ladies. It will set you up for a great start to the new year, help you release tension and stress, get those sexy vibes going, because that's what we do, and also help you to regulate your emotions. So just pause the video right now, click on the link below, and download your free Unleash the Thrill of Aggression mini course. Don't worry, I'll wait for you, because I know you'll love it and get the most from it. Okay, done? Right, let's get back to the video. Today's video, obviously, we're going to be touching on why the left hook is perhaps the second most important punch after the jab. Now, the reason why I believe the left hook is going to serve you well is, number one, because of its versatility. You can use the left hook numerous times. Where you throw your jab, you can do a double jab, and you can also do a double left hook, a triple left hook. The right hand is a bit more restricted. The second reason why the left hook is such a great punch is because it allows you to set up all other punches. Now, the left hand for the jab is the dominant hand for setup punches. But when you turn the arc on the left hook, it normally opens up the defense of your opponent. And then you're able to strike them down the center with, say, the right cross. Now, the third reason is because it's a power punch. When you're landing the left hook, it's going to serve you well in terms of how the judges perceive that punch as opposed to the jab. So it carries some of the attributes of the jab, but in the judge's eyes, it's going to fare well in terms of your aggression. The fourth reason why the left hook is also important is because when you're thinking about your boxing, all the moves in boxing that you learn are going to be understood by your opponent. So there has to be an aspect of your game that deals with deception. Now, the left hand is very versatile, as I said before, and it allows you to feint and cause misdirection because of its versatility. So the deception that you can employ within your game is carried through the left hook also. Now, the fifth reason, which is the last, is the range. The left hook can be used at various ranges, just like the jab. Obviously, to set up punches, to close the distance, you can do the same thing with your left hook. It's not as well pronounced in terms of dealing with the range as the jab, but you can certainly use the left hook at different ranges. And I'm going to show you all of these things in the next segment, which is going to deal with the demonstration. Okay guys, so in this segment, I'm going to demonstrate more so ways you can use the left hook that is going to improve your game. Now, obviously with the jab, we always want to focus on that, but when we don't want to be as predictable as, say, our opponent, who's going to be not as good as us, we want to introduce the left hook to enable us to carry more skill and technique and also strategy and tactics into our game. Now, the first way that we can use the left hook is at range, and this is going to be off the jab. So let's say that we're in our boxing stance and I've got my front toe aligned with my back heel. You guys should know your boxing stance by now. Just here. When I'm using my jab, I'm using it at range. So let's say I'm just striking my opponent down the center. So there, all I want to do is turn my wrist and my elbow over so that I can bring in the hook. So this is the kind of versatility and probing we can do at long range. So when I throw the jab there, all I have to do is turn my wrist down and then strike my opponent around like that. That's also going to allow us to strike our opponent at range, but use a different punch. We can't do that with the uppercut. So we're jabbing, ta, ta, okay? So it's just a small circle we take in this arc. Normally with the hook, we go in this arc, but at long range, we want to strike down like that. And we're gonna be touching on the first two knuckles here. So ta, 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 ta. And this is how we can work off the jab at range. Okay, the next way that we can use the left hand and the left hook is through a combo finisher. So let's say that we've got a southpaw in front of us. What we can do is throw a 2-3, and this will allow us to finish our combination, 2-punch combination, but into a defensive position. So the left hook allows us to finish the combination in a defensive position. You normally hear coaches often saying how you should finish your combination. If you aren't going to move your feet, which is more so a pro style application, you want to really think about the punch that finishes the combination. Now the left hand is definitely a punch that you should consider. The jab also, the right hand, not so much. So the reason why we finish the combination with the left hook is so that we can return back to our stance. So when I throw the cross at the southpaw, let's say the southpaw slips to the outside of this punch, so he goes to the outside here. If I throw my left hook, boom, there, without pivoting, of course, then I can return back to this defensive position. I'm not finishing with the cross, where if I finish here, look at my body position. I want to turn back. So here, I'm normally engaging with the southpaw with my lead hand. There, there. And when I'm ready with the cross, ta, ta. And you can see how I return back to this defensive position. Heel down, and then I can resume the boxing stance here. Now, with the orthodox in front of us, we can throw the 1-2-3, okay? So when we throw the 1-2-3, we normally move forward with the jab, cross, and then hook. So we go 1, 2, 3, okay? Now, what we can do with this is manipulate our opponent's defense first. Obviously, the orthodox boxer is almost identical to our own. So if I'm orthodox in front, I go 1, he catches it with the backhand. 2, obviously he catches it with his lead hand, blocks it with his lead hand. And then 3 here. He has to deal with those 3 punches. So what I want to do is change the rhythm on those punches. The first 2 bring me into range. And then the last punch, which is the hook, I throw with more power. So ta, ta, boom, okay? Ta, 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 okay? 1, 2, 3, okay? I rotate fully on the hook, and that is the power punch. Remember, the first 2 punches bring me to the right distance, and then the hook turns over with the power. Okay guys, so the next way that you can utilize the left hook is by going to the body. Now, the body shot is perhaps one of the most damaging things that you can do to break down your opponent and also finish the fight. So what we want to do is get at a satisfactory range, i.e. close range, to be able to land the left hook to the body. And when we land it on the liver, which is on the right side of the body, it's going to incapacitate our opponent. Now, it's going to leave them breathless. So it's a punch that, if landed well and correctly, it can finish the fight. Now, what we want to do to set this punch up is to obviously close the distance. So we can throw a jab, ta, okay? You can see my head is on the right-hand side. Then I throw an uppercut, because what I want to do is bring my opponent's defense inside. So I throw the uppercut, but as I do that, I shift my body weight slightly over to the left. Pa, okay? Now from here, I go straight to the body with the left hook. Ta, okay? You can see that. It's slightly arced as an uppercut because what happens is that my body changes position, but it's a left hook. So I do that from the front. So jab, uppercut, boom, okay? Do that from the side. Jab, uppercut, boom. Now, someone that you can watch for this particular combination is Naoya Inoue. When he targets the body, sometimes he throws 2 uppercuts if his opponents allow him to get close enough, and then he lands that left hook to the body. And that is a punch that will pay dividends if you're able to land it. Now, with the hook, these punches have come whilst being really more so stationary, so in a combination. But what you can do, you can also use the left hook as a counter punch. So let's say that we've got an opponent in front of us, let's say an orthodox opponent. Now, when we attack the orthodox opponent, it's likely that they're going to return the favor, throw their jab back. So let's say I throw the jab, I come back. I can expect my opponent to catch my jab sometimes and then throw their jab. What I want to do is use the left hook as I step out to the side. Now, you might find this difficult to do, but what I want you to remember is what you might do when you throw the jab and then you slip their jab. What you might do is this. So you throw the jab, come back, and then as their jab comes forward, you step out and you slip. Okay? Then you throw the cross uppercut to the body. Now, obviously to improve that move, we can use the left hook as we step out. So, okay? So as we slip, instead of just solely slipping, we want to use that left hook. So from the side, okay, from this side, okay, remember, we hit the opponent on the right side and we slip the jab. So we throw the hook, slip the jab, same movement as if we were just solely slipping, but we leave that hook there because it gives them something on that side of their head to think about. Now, we might disturb their defense or bring their focus there. Then we throw the cross, boom, as our left foot comes in. Then we shift the body weight forward, uppercut to finish the combination. But that's how we can use the left hook off a change of angle. Okay guys, another way that we can use the left hook is in a counter-attack situation called the check hook. Now, I've done a video on this previously, but I just want to introduce this so that you have almost a cluster of moves associated to the left hook. Now, when we are again in front of our opponent and our opponent's not opening up, we might throw them a stone so that they can, come back to us with something. We want to make sure that they're not in that close guard. We want to open them up. So let's say that we throw the jab, but it's easy for them to deal with. So the step jab again, okay? Now, when we throw that jab, our intention is not to strike them directly. It's to give them something that they can deal with defensively so that they become more confident to attack. So when we throw this jab, we throw it at their defense. Okay? When we do it again, because it might not happen on the first time, they might open up. So as soon as they open up, okay, we go for the check hook. Now, just to focus on the footwork, we push the hip out from the right foot, boom, and then this turns us. We also bring our lead foot up so that we can deal with the balance from this rotation and translation of the body from the right foot. Then what we do, we leave the arc on the arm in this position, because what we're trying to do is prioritize the evasion of any attack incoming and then strike as our opponent moves forward. So just demonstrate that again. Ta, ta. Okay, here, got our opponent, he's in the close guard. Ta, we hit him a few times. Ta, then he strikes. Ta, ta. Okay guys, and that's how you use the left hook as a check hook. Okay guys, thanks for stopping by. We've come to the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed watching this installment that was based primarily on the left hook and why it's invaluable. I'm gonna see you in my next video, but please remember to subscribe if you obviously wanna keep up with more uploads that I do on boxing technique. And also like the video if you've enjoyed watching today's installment. And comment in the comment section, nothing too harsh, because I'll come for you. And I'll see you in my next video.